Hey everybody. I know that the picture's not perfect, but I'm comfy on my couch. So I wanted to quickly put out this video for you guys because I've been getting a lot of feedback about either the presentation I did at Leadership Summit about what to do at a social, um, and of from the feedback I've gotten from our team meeting last week, where I kind of just did a quick 20-minute tutorial about what to do at a social, kind of the Cliff Notes version. And so I'm going to just quickly record that here because I don't want people to not know what to do at a social and then question it and not book one or whatever because they just don't know what to do for a second and third. So I'm going to quickly go over this and I hope that this helps. So first thing, let's talk about just what happens when you get there. And I'm going to start off by saying you shouldn't be in a social for more than about 90 minutes until it's unless it's a rip-roaring good time and you just think, oh my gosh, I don't want to leave because we are enjoying ourselves so much. But you are there basically for work, right? So we want to make this a 90-minute thing. You are in and you are out. And what I told everybody that I talked to last week at the team meeting was, even if I have my husband at home with my kids, I'll say that I have a babysitter and I have to leave, a social at 8:30 if it starts at 7 in order to get out of there at a decent time and to keep things flowing really well. So let's just say that our social is going to start at 7 o'clock, okay? You should get to your social about 15 minutes prior to set up and just have that conversation with your hostess about who's coming, about products she's been loving, about what she's thinking about getting, just that, warm her up and start that relationship and become like a friend or more of a friend if you don't already really know her while you set up. But setup shouldn't take a long time. We want this business to be duplicatable. So we don't want to be there an hour before or, and bringing in tons of bags. Let's make this easy. Let's throw out some product, put out your lookbooks and some order forms and start your evening. That's all it really takes. And so don't forget that this is something that shouldn't be, super crazy and really, detailed. There's tons of details and like flowers everywhere and candles. I don't do that. I get there, I get the product out, and we start the social, okay? So during those first 20 minutes of a social, this is where you are talking to people and you are warming up and you're becoming friends and you're starting relationships. This is crucial. You don't want to not do this because people will want to buy from you if they are looking at you more as a friend and not somebody who is there who's just selling something. So do not stand in the corner like I did for a long time when I first started in this industry, worried about what people were saying or doing and not knowing them, so you didn't know what to say. Have what you were going to say already planned out. Some things that are just great conversation starters. Things like, hey, so how do you know, Kelly, the hostess? And, oh, do you live in the neighborhood? Oh, you work with her? Oh, so where do you guys work? Do you have any kids? Have you ever heard of Beautycounter before? Are you stuck to like a product in a regime? Just some things that will get you in, and then that conversation will most likely lead to other things. And then you can just start to get to know them. Be real. Talk about your own situation. If she brings up work, you talk about work or whatever. But this is where you really should kind of become their friend, okay? And no matter what, if you have to have a glass of wine with them, do that, okay? Bring a bottle, that way you don't feel like you're drinking the host's, wine. Bring a bottle to donate and, have a glass of that or whatever. But just immerse yourself in those first, within those first 20 minutes with the group. So you are basically one with them and you're acting as a guest, okay? Sometimes they don't even know that I'm with Beautycounter and I'll just be hanging out and talking to them as if I don't really know anybody because I don't know who's invited, if it's neighbors and friends and coworkers and whatever. So I'll just pretend like I'm there and have a glass of wine and just chat with them and then they find out that I'm the Beautycounter girl, but I've already become their friend. Okay, so after about 20 minutes, this is where you're going to want to have a conversation with them about Beautycounter. I don't feel like everybody is going to feel comfortable saying, oh, can I have everybody sit down in the living room and have a chat? This is where you can get your hostess to say, hey, everybody, I love Beautycounter. I wanted Michelle here in order to tell you about Beautycounter. So if everybody can just give Michelle their attention, then I just would love her to share a little bit more about why we chose for you to be here. I don't want people to go sit in the living room if they're already sitting there and, around the kitchen table. So we'll just chat right there about Beautycounter. I mean, I don't talk for very long, so it's totally fine. So make it as casual and comfortable as possible without feeling like you have to be on the spot and you're making other people feel like they have to be there for a long time listening to a very large presentation, because that immediately doesn't seem very fun. So let's talk about what you're going to say when you are in your little presentation, your spiel time. Everybody says different things. You can make this as personal and about you and your journey with Beautycounter as much as sticking to more of the background and statistics and facts. For me, I like to marry them a little bit. I start out by talking about Beautycounter. I talk about some statistics, some health facts, and then why I joined before I get into their opportunity with Beautycounter and the products. So this is what it's typically going to sound like if I'm going to lead my little presentation, my little spiel. First, just super happy that they're there, that if they haven't heard of Beautycounter, or I'll ask, have you guys heard of Beautycounter yet? And most likely, most of them will say no. I'll say, great, I'd love to hear that. So let me tell you a little bit about Beautycounter and how we became, who we are and what we do. So our founder, Greg Renfrew, was watching one day an Inconvenient Truth as a new mother to a baby, and kind of realized that in her home, she probably wasn't doing the very best things she could do for her family. And so she started to look around at the products that she was using and what was in her kitchen and in her cleaning closet, and decided to make some changes. So as she was making changes that weren't very difficult, that weren't very hard, she came across all those products that were in her bathroom and realized that those products often contain some pretty toxic things, or things that you really couldn't get a lot of information on, and they were left to question. And when she realized that there were a lot of products that probably weren't so great for her family, she also realized that she really loves really great products though too. She wants products that perform. So if she's going to go to Whole Foods, she might not be getting the performance factor from those products that she would necessarily get from a department store. So she realized that she could kind of mix those two things together, create safe products, but also really high performing products and beautiful products at the same time. And so that is why we are here today, because we have married safe and beautiful and high performing all into one, and we're very proud of that. This is why we think that there's an absolute need for this. Since, and this is where I get into some facts, since the Industrial Revolution, really long time ago, 80,000 chemicals have been brought into the market. 10,000 of those chemicals are used in our personal care products and skincare products. Only 10 to 20% of those products or ingredients have ever been tested for safety. So realistically, we don't know what would happen by using these ingredients over and over and over again, day after day, year after year. And we think that's a problem. In the European Union, they have banned over 1,400 ingredients from their personal care industry. Where here in the United States, they've only banned 11. Those 11 products or ingredients were banned in 1938. So that was can you imagine 1938? It's almost 100 years ago at this point, right? We're almost there. And that ban was written out on a 1.5 page paper. So a 1.5 page law regulates a $60 billion industry now. It is extremely outdated. And we say, if that 1.5 pages had good information and it was health protective, then great. But unfortunately, it's not. And so it's a bad law, and we need some reform around it. And here's why we think that we do need more reform. Right now, there's everybody knows somebody who's been affected by some health issue that is unexplained. And we talk about within my circle of friends, how many of us have infertility issues, and how many of us are being touched by breast cancer. And we do know that 1 in 7 women are going to be diagnosed with breast cancer in our lifetime. Now, 40 years ago, it was 1 in 20 women. Since then, it's 1 in 7, and genetics can't account for all of that. They say actually only 10% of breast cancer cases are due to the genetic link. So we do know that, environmental factors are linked to the surge in breast cancers. Or they think that environmental factors definitely play a big part. We also know that, little girls are starting puberty at a much earlier age. And they say that Caucasians are starting their periods about a year in advance. And for African-American or Black children, that they're starting even earlier than that. And we think this is a big problem, because that can lead to the potential risks of getting breast cancer as well. So we know that there are some things that most likely need to be changed in our environment, and our environment is everything around us. Okay. So we just want to bring some awareness to what we are using in our homes, what we are putting in our bodies, and what we are putting on our bodies. because we do think that there are some major things happening that shouldn't be happening in terms of our health. So here's why I got involved. When I first saw Beautycounter online, I was doing some research on the internet, and I kept reading and reading and reading and reading, and I didn't stop. And what I didn't know any of this information. I knew nothing about the law 1938. I thought that this was a safe, tested, and regulated industry. I had literally no idea. And I thought that I would know because I care about my foods and my fitness and all of that. I had no idea. And when I went up to my kids' bathrooms and I took out their products and I looked at the back and I compared it to ingredients that we obviously had learned about that you shouldn't be using, all of those ingredients were in those products. So I immediately put an order in. I wasn't even a consultant. I just put an order in for over $300 to try to change out my kids' products and some of the things that I was using on a daily basis, because I couldn't believe that I was using things that were harmful or potentially harmful to me and my family. So I knew that if I didn't know this information, that there are a lot of women out there who don't. And I think that when we talk about this face to face, friend to friend, this is when change actually happens. And so I want to be a part of that. I think that it's important that we become more aware that knowledge empowers us to make really good decisions. And as long as I can make a decision with information behind me, then I can justify that decision or that purchase behavior that I put into place. So my goal here is just to give you some good information, to answer some questions, to see if changing out some products to safer products are right for you. And to let you know how you can get involved. So, we love our clients. Our clients are super important to us. We love that you are hopefully spreading the Beautycounter love with your friends and family and network. So thank you. If you do find that you want to be a Beautycounter client, thank you so much. We really appreciate that. If you want to become a member, I'll give the member information. Our hosts obviously are a big reason why we get this information out. So if you have a network you think would really like to hear more about Beautycounter and about the products that we're trying to put into people's hands and other products that are just safer, then please, have me over. I'm not so bad. And let's have some fun and just talk this, through with your friends and have that conversation. You also get half price and free products as well for people coming and shopping. So that's a huge plus. And if you go home and you are thinking about this information and you're going through your products and you really feel like that there's more to Beautycounter that you'd like to be a part of, then please have a chat with me. We find that anybody who has some type of a passion for sharing this word is somebody we really want to have involved with Beautycounter in some way. So if you really feel like you'd love to do what I do and just talk about this at large and potentially help make changes in other people's lives, then let's have some coffee and see if this would be right for you. So anyway, products. I'm going to give you my top 5 products, the products that I can't live without, the products that I love, that I use every single day. And like if they run out and I don't have one in backup, then I'm like freaking out. So I'm going to go through those 5 right now. Here's where you pick your favorite 5, because not everybody's 5 are the same, and you want to be able to talk about why those products are your favorites. For me, I'm usually talking about the Nourishing Balm, because I feel like, to me, at the end of my night, that is such a treat to put on my Nourishing Balm. I love it. And to get any pesky makeup off that I couldn't get off with my Routine Clean or charcoal bar. I talk about the sea salt spray, because I literally can't live without my sea salt spray now. I put it on my hair when it's wet, and then when it's dry, and then when I need to refresh in the middle of the day, I'll put it on and then scrunch up a little bit, and I get my curl right back. I love it. I think it's awesome. I love the Routine Clean. Don't know what I'd do without it. I love my Tint Skin. My Tint Skin has saved my life. I love my complexion now because of the Tint Skin. So thank you, Tint Skin. And usually I talk about the Color Pinch Blusher. That's something that I really love, that I never knew I'd love, and I absolutely love it. So anyway, those are my top 5 right now off the top of my head. Of course, I could probably talk about a million more because I do love our products so much. But if you come up with the top 5, that's probably where some people are going to start. And then, of course, when we get back to the table, then I can talk about other products. So let's pretend like I just gave my top 5. Then I'm going to say, all right, guys, let's head back over, or if you're in front of the products, I want this display to be a disaster by the time I leave here tonight, because that means you guys enjoyed it and you wanted to touch and feel and see and try on. So please have fun with the products. I'm here to answer questions. I'm going to be out of here at 8:30 tonight. I've got a babysitter who needs to get home for school, for an early morning school tomorrow. So please find me if you're ready to place an order. Please find me and I'll help you out immediately. If not, I'm going to start trying to wrap things up by about 8:15 so I can be out of here by about 8:30. So I'm all yours now for the next, hour or so. So please use me however you can and just have some fun, get some wine. Let's just go back at it and have some fun. All right. So that will transition you back into being around the table. Now, as people are starting to look at the products, this is where they might need your help. Don't go sit in a corner again. Like, let's make sure you're around there. You need to be able to start the conversation as well. And if you see somebody shopping and you're like, I don't know what to say, usually I'll walk up and just say something like, what do you think about? Or, hey, what you looking at? Or, is there any way I can help you? So like, not being super formal about it, but just saying like, hey, knock them in the elbow. Hey, what can I help you out with? Or what are you thinking about? Anything that's, piquing your interest. And then start the process of helping them with their, change or with whatever products they want in their regime. When all else fails, sell the body product. Everybody shampoos, conditions, puts on body wash, and has, lotion. Everybody. And that's not such a frivolous purchase for like a husband to hear like, oh, they just spent 80 some odd dollars at the party they were just at. Well, it was shampoo and conditioner. And so it's not crazy. It's not like they're coming home with the entire Countertime collection, though we love those people who do that. But it might be a really great place to start. And if they absolutely fall in love with it, it's not ridiculous to reorder a $20 bottle of shampoo, especially if they're switching out from another more premium designer brand. So, okay. I would say that this is where you need to use your personality, have some fun when you're checking out. This is where you say, and just to let you know, if there's other things on that wish list that, you couldn't get tonight, a great way to do it is just have some friends over. I mean, would you be interested in that? Would that be something that, sounds like fun? Don't forget about this opportunity, because when you're at these socials, you don't want to leave there with, not knowing if people actually enjoyed it, if they would invite their friends or whatnot. So remember to ask them, hey, would you want to invite your friends over and have me come over to do this again and get you some free products that maybe you couldn't get tonight? And if there's somebody who was asking you a lot of questions about what you do and was totally into it and was putting makeup on people and was saying how, oh my gosh, I've always wanted to see Beautycounter, that's your person who very well may want to be on your team. You just don't know it yet. So if she's asking you a lot of questions about what you do, or you see that she's doing what you would do at a social, that is when you say, so why aren't you doing this? You are perfect at this. Like, you just did everything I do, but even better. So I need you on board with me to do this together. Okay. Don't be afraid. I thank God somebody brought Beautycounter into my life. I'm thinking that you are happy that somebody brought Beautycounter into your life for whatever reason that may be. There are many other women out there who need to hear about us as well. So don't be afraid to bring it up to somebody, that this could be the perfect opportunity. And I love, Leah, my friend and counterpart here, has always said, like, lead with the opportunity. Start there. If nothing else, like, say, hey, like, you were really good at this. You really like it. Have you ever thought about maybe doing what I do? If not, then maybe that person will say, it's not for me, but I really want to try some products, or I really want to host. Great. So if we lead with the opportunity, we're bound to get something else out of it, between hosting or purchasing or whatever. So don't be afraid to be confident in what you do, why we do it, and the impact that we have because of what we do. So I hope that helps. This was a very long video, but I wanted to at least get some training out there. This was a very shortened talk about what I do. But let me break down again what my little spiel, that's what we get the most questions on, how I broke it down in my head so I wouldn't forget something. I always think, explain what Beautycounter was from Greg's perspective, some facts about the industry. So that's like the 1938 bill, the European Union, and like how many chemical ingredients are in our marketplace. I then talk about some little health statistics about why we think that change matters. And then I talk about why I got involved. Okay. Lead that up with how they can get involved, which is a good segue. Talk about products, get back to the table and get back to talking about things. That's how I go through it in my head, so that way I don't get hung up as I'm saying it out loud. Once again, that's just what I do. You could have a beautiful, awesome presentation, and we'd love to hear that. So please let me know if you have one that you would love to do. A lot of times I get to talk a little bit more personally, or emotion comes into a little bit more, but this helps me stay on track. Of course, then we could be getting into talking about being an organic B corporation, and we can get into talking about who it is that runs our health and safety and our performance parts of the business. But hopefully that helps, guys. Thanks for all that you do. Let's make April killer. We're on pace to have the best month ever, which would be awesome because that means you guys are having the best month ever. Please let me know if you have any questions and we can chat. All right. Have a great day, guys. Talk to you later.